All right, Mike McGroarty here. You know, I get this question a lot, or sometimes I don't get the question, but I know people understand when we say that we're going to use a mulch to mulch our beds, or maybe use a mulch to mix in and make a potting mix. People get really confused because to some people mulch is mulch, and there's only one kind. So today I'm going to show you the difference between different kinds of mulches. And I guess I'll start right here with this. This is my favorite mulch of all time. This is shredded hardwood bark. Now this is actually bark off of hardwood trees. That is, they debark the tree and then they grind the mulch, and then a lot of times they'll double grind it or triple grind it to make it really, really small like that. But hardwood bark mulch, the bark of the tree is where all the nutrition is. That's where all the nutrients are. So so that's why bark mulch is so much more valuable than other types of mulch. Now this mulch over here, this is popular. This is red mulch, and you can get red mulch, black mulch, brown mulch, but this is dyed. And what this more than likely is, it's all ground up wood. I can see that for sure. These are pieces of wood. There's no bark, there's no nutrition in this. Usually this kind of mulch is made out of ground up pallets because factories throw away pallets like crazy. So guys that are in the mulch business, they get those pallets, they grind them up, and then they actually dye it to give it some color. This is really, it's okay for mulching your beds at home. I don't like it because it floats, because it's got so much wood in it, it floats. But it doesn't have nutritional value at all. And as wood products like this decompose, they pull the nitrogen from the soil, so they can actually deprive your plants of some nitrogen. Now if you've got mature landscape plants, that's not going to make a big difference. But if you have things like little tiny flowers and you put them in a mulch that's not decomposed, it's actually pulling nitrogen away from those plants. So that's why hardwood, another reason about the hardwood bark mulch, it's shredded and it packs down and it gets pretty airtight, so it does a really good job of getting rid of weeds. This is the same. This is another ground up wood mulch. This is dyed, it's black in color, and it's just pieces of wood. Now this pile over here, this is actually compost, and you can see that this is much finer, little tiny pieces, and it's very light and fluffy. This is probably made, and compost can vary depending on where you live, what they put in it. But compost can vary what they put in there. But a lot of times it's made with leaf mold. So they take tree leaves and they decompose the tree leaves, and sometimes they'll even mix in some sewage sludge from a sewage treatment plant. So you don't really know what's in this. You've got to ask. It's probably not something you're going to put on your vegetable garden because if it could possibly contain sewage sludge. But this is very good to work into your soil. This is good organic matter to work into a garden, a flower garden, planting bed. And if the supplier can tell you that it does not contain sewage sludge, then you may use it in a vegetable garden. But I really am not crazy about that because we don't know what's in it. Now people often call this mulch, and I don't know, look at this. This is wood chips that you get from a tree service. They cut down a tree, they grind up the branches, the logs, and they give this stuff away because they got to get rid of it. And a lot of times people think they hit the lottery when somebody gives them a whole truckload of this stuff. About the only thing that this is good for, in my opinion, is to put it in a garden, where to use it to mulch a pathway, so that to get rid of mud. It's going to take forever for this stuff to decompose, and as it does, it's going to keep pulling and pulling nitrogen from the soil. It has no nutritional value in it whatsoever. When they grind these trees up, they grind up the twigs, the leaves, the stems, and some of these tree grinders will grind a branch that big. So this stuff is probably 95% wood. That's the worst possible kind of mulch you can use from a nutritional standpoint. So again, this is the free stuff that you get from a tree service. My favorite, the shredded hardwood bark mulch, because it's good for the soil. You put it down, it doesn't last as long because it breaks up easier and quicker. But that's kind of what I want, because I want the mulch to improve my soil. And we use this when we're making a potting mix. We'll actually use this. I'll buy this stuff and get a great big pile of it, and then kind of flatten it out so it gets good and wet, and then like a year later I can actually use this in a potting mix. So that's important because people always ask me about that. this is the mulch that you want to use in your potting mix. This stuff here you never want to use in your potting mix. This wood products that are dyed, the dye won't hurt anything, but the wood products are not good. Never use these two in a potting mix. The compost is also, it's really good in a potting mix, but it could be too wet, so you may have to mix something in, because your potting mix should drain really well and it should breathe. But anyway, Mike McGroarty, go to the link down below, sign up for my gardening newsletter, because I really do my best to keep you informed of things you need to know about your garden.